Kia ora whānau, and welcome to a new episode of Get a Job and Get Healthy with Costas Enterprises. I am your host, Costas, Alex Costas, and as always, I want to say a big thank you to everyone that has been listening. I really appreciate you. I'm still waiting on people to actually put their questions forward for the giveaway that I am doing for having 1,000 listens. So yeah, please enter in costasenterprises.business.blog. You can go to my website and find it there. Alternatively, you can also email me at doncostas@gmail.com. And you can also contact me on my Instagram at the Kiwi Don as well. And yeah, so what I thought I would talk about is something that me and my partner are doing today. We literally started it today, even though we've been talking about it for about a week. What it is our idea to try and sort of broaden our culinary knowledge, but at the same time, the overall theme is make ourselves better, both health and mentally. And one of the things we decided to do was every week we will select a recipe from one of the many recipe books that we've got in the place where we're staying, and try to, cook for each other. So today was the first day we did that. I went first because I was working from home today. I had a little bit of time to do prep and all that sort of stuff. And so what it was I decided to cook a Chinese-inspired pork chop out of pork steaks that we got. And yeah, I'm going to admit it came out quite tasty, even though I was missing one of the ingredients of cornstarch for the marinade. But overall, we're talking like a recipe book from, the 1950s-ish. And it was actually one of my recipe books from my father, who passed away, which I've talked about before. And so, yeah, I sort of in honour of him, I wanted to sort of create my first book, create my first meal using one of his books that I never ended up reading back when I was at my mum's place. But yeah, it actually came out quite nice. One thing we decided to do was we decided that no matter how much me and my partner do it, we will make enough to make sort of enough for two meals each. So effectively, out of the one meal, we're getting 4 meals, if that makes sense. One for me, one for my partner, and one for lunch the next day. So yeah, that was the intention of our plan, and yeah, as a first time, it actually worked out quite nicely. I decided to not just make the pork chops, but also make some Vietnamese-inspired salad, Vietnamese-inspired stir-fry with Vietnamese vegetables, as well as some of the marinade that I created, as I had way too much marinade because I decided to make more than what I should have, as well as some noodles as well. And yeah, it came off really tasty. So what I decided to do was I did all my prep work. I marinated it for a long time, I'm going to admit. And while I didn't follow the recipe completely the way I was supposed to, I did do a pretty good approximation of what it should be, and cooked it pretty much the same as well. So yeah, it was really tasty. And we've one thing I did need to do is I actually undercooked it a bit. So we decided to just cook it a little bit more than what we would have. Otherwise, it would have just not been very tasty at all. But yeah, I think overall it came across quite good. And yeah, it's a nice sort of initiative to think about, given that we, didn't really think it and plan it out too much. It's just literally going to be a weekly sort of thing. But yeah, it's excited me to get back into cooking, about what it is that I can actually cook for myself and my partner, and challenging me a bit as well. Like, one of the things I haven't really touched on, but I am sort of part Greek, and I kind of do want to be able to cook some sort of Greek food every so often. So yeah, that's the overall intention. And yeah, overall I think it's going quite well. I know my partner has already got her plan of what she wants to cook. So it is going to be very, very interesting to see what it is that we actually get out of this, and how many different designs we're doing. One of the foods that we're going to try. One of the things that I am intending to do as well is, with my particular ones, I'm going to try and take photos and upload those every time I do create one. So by the end of the year, we'll have 52 recipes as well as 52 pictures of what these will be. Now, with some of the ones that we create, there will be, a picture from the recipe book and then the picture of what I've created. With this particular recipe book, there aren't many pictures, unfortunately. So we are, as I said, talking about like a 1950s type book, 1960s. So as you can imagine, it is not the most user-friendly when it comes to those sorts of things, as so many are these days. But yeah, it was very, very... It has got me thinking a lot more about the type of food that I need to be eating and the type of food that I should be eating. So yeah, I am intending to get better and better with doing exactly that. And hopefully getting better into the healthy eating and healthy things that I was doing before. Not necessarily keto. The vegetarian stuff, I am still eating the vegetarian stuff. But I am going to admit that I have been eating some more meat than I probably should have. But I am doing my best to try and get back onto that. Walking wise, I am still walking and doing what I need to. And yeah, it's been a really, really interesting time. As I said, today was the first day, but the planning sort of has been happening the last couple of days. And even though you guys might be like, oh, well, it doesn't sound like much. We do a recipe book every day. But when you think about trying to do 52 new recipes every week each, not repeating them, it's actually pretty daunting, because you kind of have to throw yourself in the deep end and go, well, actually, yeah, I do need that, and I do want that. So yeah, that's the intention of going for that. And yeah, I'm just really, really looking forward to the experience and the challenging myself, basically. One of the things that I sort of didn't do before was challenge myself when it came to eating. Now, when it came to the keto, it was very easy to make the same type of food over and over again. The Vietnamese food is great when my partner creates it. I haven't tried doing that, but I will admit that is one of the things that I am going to try and create, so that I can sort of take on her culture as well, because she is Vietnamese. And I do love the food. I didn't used to, I'm going to admit. I never actually liked Vietnamese food to start off with. And it was only because, I'd only even known like one or two bits. Pho, and, which at the time I used to call pho, which is completely wrong. And, the spring rolls, the Vietnamese summer spring rolls. Which I'll admit I never used to like, until my partner started making them for me and showed me like that they can actually be really, really tasty. So yeah, that's been really, really cool to think about how I'm going to create these new things that I haven't tried before. Because I have created spring rolls once, and now that I know how to create them, they're actually quite easy. And while I haven't created them all the way from, like, frying the pork and all that sort of stuff, I still know that what the procedure is for that sort of thing. So yeah, I am looking at one time I would love to learn how to make hotu nam van, which is basically kind of like a pho. It's basically a soup with beef and prawns and noodles, kind of like udon noodles, I would say. We have a lady that sort of cooks Vietnamese food, who used to be a chef at one of the best Vietnamese restaurants in Wellington, Fisherman's Table, sorry. And she sort of delivers these things, and my favourite is the hotu nam van. And so that is going to be one of my goals over the next couple of weeks, months, however long I feel confident enough. And so yeah, that will be the sort of goal, is to get to that sort of level where I can create Vietnamese food that my partner can eat as well. And yeah, basically just try to push my boundaries about what I'm eating, how I'm eating. And yeah, hopefully that will also save me money and all that sort of things. On the money front, I thought I would give you all a quick update. I am sitting at about, I literally have possibly one more pay left until I've paid off my big debt. Now, my big debt was about $26,000 at the time, and for the last sort of 3 years I've been paying this off. I'm sitting at about $1,050. So yeah, I will be paying that off hopefully in the next fortnight, which I'll be honest, kind of blows my mind a little bit. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to being debt free for the first time in like 20 years. If that makes any sense to people and they appreciate that as well, then yeah, I think you will appreciate where I'm coming from as well. But yeah, it's going pretty well. I made another sale on my Redbubble as well. One of my designs, actually it's quite surprising, I sold a scarf of all things, which, yeah, I remember watching a YouTuber that I follow, and he was like, there's some things that you will never really get, that you will actually be able to sell. And yeah, sure enough, this was one of them, was actually a scarf. And the funny thing is, it's a design that I did not actually even think would register as something that would be potentially good on a scarf. It's good on sort of as a scarf that you could possibly hang on the wall, because it's not a multi-zoned design, or a multi-layered design. But it's my neon origami one, which I got to admit, I actually quite like it. It is a very simplistic design. But yeah, I sold that, and so that's netted me about $4.44. I know I talked about it last time as well, but I've actually been paid it as well. And yeah, it's just it was surprising, because I wasn't expecting a sort of a sale this month. But it does mean that I've been pretty good with my sales the last couple of months, and so I'm going to keep pushing forward. I do need to start creating more. I sort of has slacked off quite a bit on my designs. So yeah, I hope to sort of have that stuff, basically get myself a lot more focused. So one thing that I'm quite honest about is my focus does wane quite a bit, and it is something that I've always sort of had issues with. And so being honest about that stuff is quite hard because I'm not used to it. I'm used to sort of putting on a brave front that I am able to handle anything and everything. But I am going to be completely honest and say that in this instance, I am definitely not super confident. And yeah, I just hope that I will get better at this sort of stuff. And things like the food thing that I'm going to be doing is exactly the reason why, because it does just give me that extra confidence that I need to basically do what it is that I want to do with my life. And while some aspects of my life I am doing perfectly and I'm really happy with, like the paying off the debt and trying to do this passive income and trying to sort of educate people, there are other things which are, I do neglect, and as always I need to work more and more on those. And it's things like this food thing the food challenge that we're trying, that are actually they do sort of re-motivate me into doing these things, because the last thing I want to do is get into the habit of basically just not being all I can be. And that's kind of what this whole process of what we're doing is about. It's about us being all we can be, without quoting the US Army. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those situations where we will just do what we can, and hopefully everything does sort itself out with these sorts of procedures. My partner is quite used to focusing herself, and I am not, but I'm trying. It's the best I can do, really. Other than that, not much else going on in Alex's life. I've been helping some people out with CVs and cover letters and all that sort of stuff as well, so like I usually do. And that's been quite good. I've had about 5 all in a session, and I'm intending on running a session for our grads at our work, and they are our ICT grads, just teaching them how to do things like CVs, cover letters, interview questions, star examples, all the stuff that I've covered on this podcast as well, but just in a more sort of personal way. And yeah, I think it's going to go quite well. I've helped someone else as well, and that person has gone for a job interview just recently. So she said it was really, really helpful, which I really appreciated, basically. But yeah, I'm overall doing pretty well, feeling pretty good. I will post the images of the recipe as well as the preparation for the recipe, and of course the other parts as well. So I'll put all of that on my Instagram, so go check it out on @thekiwidon. Feel free to contact me anytime, email me, and I will gladly try to help you in any way that I can. As I did say, I do have a giveaway going, where as I said, I will sort of give you $100 US of merchandise from my Redbubble store. I will pay it, and I might give you some extra stuff as well. You can also get a 1-hour session with me to ask me anything about, if you want help with your own business, if you want help with, I can also help you with a CV or cover letter. That stuff is its own one as well. You basically pick one of these, or you might get all three. It's completely up to you, and it depends on if you're the only person that actually enters. But basically, I want to try and help you guys grow not only your business, but your passive income ideas, Or if you are trying to get into a job and you need some help you with your CVs and cover letters and all that sort of stuff as a one-on-one sort of consultant. But until next week, people, have a great one. I love you guys, and as always, good luck. Have a great one, and thanks for sticking with me with this short podcast this week.